The lesson 1.3 of our subject art appreciation is all about the functions and philosophical perspectives on art. Greek philosopher Aristotle claimed that every particular substance in the world has an end, or telos in Greek, which translates into purpose. For example, a seed, it is bound to become a full grown plant. That is the purpose of seed. Another one is the baby. Baby will eventually turn into a grown man or woman. This telos, according to Aristotle, is intricately linked with function. For a thing to reach its purpose, it also has to fulfill its function. Man, in Aristotle's view of reality, is bound to achieve a life of fulfillment and happiness. Or in Greek, eudaimonia, all men move toward this final end. For example, a table. What makes a table is the fact that it does perform its function and thereby reaching its telos. Same goes for a human being. What makes human being a human being is his capacity for thinking. That is our supposed function, our capacity for thinking. Okay, the functions of art. So when it comes to function, different art forms come with distinctive functions. There is no one-to-one correspondence between an art and its function. Some art forms are more functional than others. Architecture, for example, it is an art or it is as an art is highly functional just like most applied arts. A building as a work of art is obviously made for a specific purpose, just like the Taj Mahal. So, what is the purpose of this Taj Mahal? It is a massive mausoleum of white marble. It is built in Agra, and the purpose of this is in the memory of the wife of the then Emperor Shah Jahan. So, it was constructed for the wife of Shah Jahan. Next is jewelry making. It, as an art, it is known by its product. The name of the art in this applied art is basically denoted by its specific function. On the other end of the spectrum, one can only think of painting and literature as forms of art that have the least to do with purely practical values. When one examines and thinks of a painter or a work of literature such as poem or novel, he will look at the value of the product of art in and for itself and not because of what it can do and benefit us. Unlike in practical arts such as jewelry, another is, for example, house, which the viewers or uh, one will look in its practical benefits. So, in painting and literature, it's more of the practical values. So, there are uh, the functions of arts are classified into three. First is personal, or the public display or expression. Another is the social, where art can be a celebration or to affect collective behavior. Third is the physical, utilitarian. Let's go to the personal functions of art first. So the personal functions of art are varied and highly subjective. This means that its function depend on the person, the artist who created the art. An artist may create an art out of the need for self-expression. An art may also be therapeutic. In some orphanages and home for abandoned elders, art is used to help residents process their emotions or while away their time. So when it comes to social functions of art, it is considered to have a social function if and when it addresses a particular collective interest as opposed to a personal interest. So political art is a very common example of an art with a social function. Art may convey messages of protest, contestation, or whatever message the artist intends his work art to carry. Often, art can also depict social conditions. So, for example, here is the art that they want to give a message, stop blue mud killing, something like that. And other is when you already saw an art that telling never again to martial law, for example, or they portray an image of a politician who are doing corrupt or corruption, for example, but anything that may convey message of protest or contestation. This is a way of or the social functions of art. Next is photography as an art form. It delivers this kinds of function by taking photos of subjects in conditions that people do not normally take a look or give attention to. So pictures of poverty may carry emotional overtones that may solicit action or awareness from their audience like this one. Moreover, performances art like plays or satires can also rouse emotions and rally people toward a particular end because they would like to give their um, audience a message about a certain situation in our society that needs to be addressed. In this and more, the social functions of art is apparent. Next, we have the physical functions of art. So, the physical functions of art are the easiest to spot and understand. The physical functions of art can be found in artworks that are crafted in order to serve some physical purpose. For example, is the architecture and interior designs. These are also considered as physical function of art. So let's move on to the philosophical perspective on art. First is with Plato. So for him, art as imitation. In his masterpiece, The Republic, where it is particularly paints a picture of artists as imitators and art as mere imitation. In his description of the ideal republic, Plato advises against the inclusion of art as a subject in the curriculum and the banning of artists in the republic. So, in his view of reality, the things in this world are only copies of the original, an imitation for short, the eternal and the true entities that can only be found in the world of forms. So human beings endeavor to reach the forms all throughout his life, starting with formal education in school. From looking at the shadows in the cave, men slowly crawl outside to behold the real entities in the world. For example, the chair that one sits on is not a real chair. It is an imperfect copy of the perfect chair in the world of forms. Much is true for beauty in this world. When one ascribes beauty to another person, he refers to an imperfect beauty that participates only in the form of beauty in the world of forms. For him, art is dangerous because it provides a petty replacement for the real entities that can only be attained through reasons. So for Plato, art is just an imitation of um, the, the real one in the world of forms. Art as representation. For Aristotle's view, for example, again, Plato's most important student in philosophy agreed with his teacher that art as a form of imitation. However, in contrast to the disgust that his pastor holds for Aristotle considered art as an aid to philosophy in revealing truth. So the kind of imitation that artist does is not antithetical to the reaching of fundamental truths in the world. For example, Aristotle in the Poetics claimed that poetry is a literary representation in general. For Aristotle, on the other hand, all kinds of art, including poetry, music, dance, painting, and sculpture, these do not aim to represent reality as it is. What art endeavors to do is to provide a vision of what might be or the possibilities in reality, unlike in Plato, who thought that art is an imitation only of another imitation, or for Aristotle, conceived of art as representing possible versions of reality. So next we have The Critic of Judgment by Immanuel Kant. So it is described or art is described as disinterested judgment. Kant mentioned that judgment of beauty and therefore art is innately autonomous from specific interests. It is the form of art that is adjudged by one who perceives art to be beautiful or more so sublime. Therefore, even aesthetic judgment for Kant is cognitive activity. So for Kant, when one judges a particular painting as beautiful, one effect is saying that this painting has induced a particular feeling of satisfaction from him that he expects the painting to rouse the same feeling from anyone. For him, every human being should recognize the beauty that is inherent in a work of art. This is the kind of universality that the judgment of beauty is assumed by Kant to have. So when the person says that something is beautiful, or for example, the painting is beautiful, he does not just believe that the thing is beautiful only for that or for that person, but in a sense expects that the same thing should put everyone in awe. Last we have In the Eyes of Leo Tolstoy. So he is the author of War and Peace and Anna Karenina. He provided another perspective of an art in his book What is Art? Tolstoy defended the production of the sometimes truly extravagant art, like operas, despite extreme poverty in the world. So for him, art plays a huge role in communication to his audience's emotion that the artist previously experienced. Art then serves as a language or a form of communication device that articulates feelings and emotions that are otherwise unavailable to the audience. So, for example, in the language or in the form of language, it communicates information to other people, while in art, it communicates emotions in listening to music, in watching an opera, and in reading poems. So, it communicates and receives feelings and emotions. Tolstoy is fighting for the social dimension of art as a purveyor of man's innermost feelings and thoughts, art is given a unique opportunity to serve as a mechanism for social unity. Art is central to man's existence because it makes accessible feelings and emotions of people from the past and present from one continent to another. So there you have it. You already know the functions and the philosophical perspective when it comes to art. Thank you.